It's Rich and Laurel, the Vintage Hikers.
Hey guys, we're back to talk about tents and our journey through the tent world and how we got to where we ended up and why.
Yes, and you know, we might as well just get this out here right now. There's an expression, buy once, cry once. We like to think of it as buy multiple times and learn from your mistakes, because when it comes to tents, we've had a few in the 2 years that we've been doing this.
You know, the thing about camping and camping gear, everybody's different. Everybody's got different ideas. Some guys love single wall tents. Some guys love double wall tents. This is just how we ended up where we ended up with what really, really works well for us.
And if you watch some of our previous videos, as you know, we had not camped at all in like 25, 30 years. So the first tent we bought off Craigslist.
Fail, it leaked. Oh well.
We got what we paid for.
Right.
So then we went to REI and we bought an MSR Hubba Hubba.
2-person tent.
It was an awesome tent.
Yeah.
And there were two of us.
Double wall tent.
And we took it camping and we took Heidi the Schnauzer with us, and we quickly learned that a 2-person tent is a 1-person tent. Realistically, the big complaint we had about it was just too small.
Well, yeah, and there was the scorpion, but that's another story.
Yeah, well, yeah, the scorpion. And we don't even want to talk about
it was that big. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the picture. It was not that big, but I will say that the guys in South Cumberland, there were some Boy Scouts, and they said they've been camping there their whole lives and had never seen one. So we just got lucky. But anyway,
wow.
So because we bought it at REI, yay, we went back to REI and said, love the tent, but we need a bigger tent.
It's just too small.
Right. So
we did some research, banging around on, a lot of different, websites, REI sites. So we bought a Dome 3. REI is very helpful when it comes to that kind of stuff, guys. They really do help you learn your way.
And that REI tent, I love that tent. There were a lot of things about that tent that I really
nice
loved.
Vestibules, nice size, easy to set up, freestanding. A lot of folks love freestanding tents.
Yeah, and we could set it up in the rain. We could get it going really fast.
Yeah,
but speaking of rain,
well, you stayed dry inside for sure, no question about it. It did really well, but it's still nylon. Gets wet, gets stretchy, absorbs water, and it's just, if you're going to be hiking in a very wet environment, for us, it's just not going to work. It got too heavy when it was wet.
And I didn't really have as big a problem as Rich did, because he carries the tent.
Yeah, that happens to be my part of the load. So.
And so we kind of started thinking, man, we're carrying around a tent that's pretty heavy to begin with, and when it gets wet and nasty, it's even worse. So we started doing some more research.
And more research. And, we decided on a Zpacks Triplex.
We got it right before we did our rim to rim of the Grand Canyon.
Right, and of course I ordered the wrong color, the wrong weight, and midnight panic. Emailed Zpacks, and they spun around our spruce green point.
Blue, green,
the 74 weight tent, the heavier version of the Triplex. It got it to us right away. Really like the tent. I love the feel. The heavier DCF, the Dyneema, the heavier Dyneema is nice. We started using it, and we really liked it.
And there's something really funny about us. Every time we go camping, there's a full moon. But we kept using it.
Yeah, real happy with it.
The biggest complaint truly was full moons. And on the AT, when we did our section hike of the AT, we had some full moons. A couple of times in South Cumberland we had them, and literally they were keeping us awake.
Man, every time we go camping there's a full moon. I'm not lying. So we decided to sell our original Triplex on eBay, which is awesome for buying and selling used gear, by the way. I recommend it highly. And get a camo triplex from the guys at Zpacks.
And I had, being a girl, I had resisted the camo in the first place. So it's probably my fault that we had to go through 2 versions, because he wanted the camo from the very beginning.
It wasn't because of the brightness and the light in it. I just thought it wouldn't be quite so
obvious.
Yeah, in other words, stealth camping with a bright green tent, blue tent. Yeah, that's not stealth. But
the good news is, when we got the new Triplex, the camo, there were a lot of things that they had changed between our first triplex and this one that were all things that we said, you know, I really kind of wish.
Yeah.
And
little things though, you know, nothing major.
Right, and we set the tent up today in the backyard. It was a little windy, and we did our best as far as, you know, you being able to hear Rich, but he covered those changes, which is great.
Just want to show you how the toggles work to close the storm doors down when they're fully closed. You can close these from the inside pretty easily too. That latch keeps the wind from blowing it out. If you look over here on the side where the Zpacks logo is, always face this side into the wind because the wind will come across if it's a real windy night and rainy and blow so that the wind does not drive the rain in the vestibules. So always put the Z's into the wind. The Z-Pack guy is pretty smart putting that on there like that. And these just pop open. Got another toggle here for the door. Toggle open your vestibule doors. You got one on each side. I'll go ahead and open both of these because I'm going to get inside. This is 60.67 a yard ounces, the camo, as opposed to the regular DCF that's 51. The Spruce Green is 74. It's a little heavier. Has a little better feel, I think. But because of the translucency, the camo version is a lot better in my opinion. This is a change from the older versions and newer versions. They put these on the sides, which we really like, instead of the head and the foot. I've got it set to 48 inches, the trekking poles, and we've got a good 7 feet this way in length. Handy tape measure, and we've got a good just a little under 5 feet in width to the bottom of the tub, which is plenty of room. You also notice we've got the venting on the sides. That'll help with condensation of the single wall tent at night, and big key to that is equalization of the temperature from the inside to the outside, because the cold up against the single wall tent will cause condensation. We also added,
Sorry guys, I'm doing the best I can here.
we also added another loop to the center for a little clothesline inside of the tent. They come with a loop on either end. I added a little loop over here, and I'm going to add another one over there because it worked out really well. You can see there's plenty of room in the tent. Lengthwise, we typically put our gear under our sleeping pad, our packs under our sleeping pad at the foot. Plenty of room to put all our gear in the tent if it's a bad night. Double doors on each end. They fully zip. There's 2 zippers on each door. They open completely up. That way at night, if you have to get up, which old folks have to get up, especially me, at least once a night, I don't disturb my partner and wake her up as much as I would if I had to climb over her.
Maybe if you can show them how you've rigged the ropes.
Well, you saw we put the ground sheet down first. Now, the ground sheet that we have, it's a multi-purpose item. We also use it if we get into a brief rainstorm. We'll throw it over our heads and just wait out a little rainstorm. And I have it I have the ropes on the corners of the ground sheet preset to where I've got the tent where it goes right up to where I don't have to adjust it every time I put it up. Now, the way these come, they're set up to string out on two tent stakes. But I've elected to just take one tent stake and put both the center one and this together on the trekking pole to hold up the insides to pop them out a little bit higher. I think Zpacks makes a cap for this that you can buy, but I elected to just do it this way. I also, this camo tent came with a real bright green rope on it. I got some reflective orange rope from Zpacks because I like it to light up at night. It makes it a little easier to find a tent. You don't trip over the ropes as much when you got your headlamp on. You can see them really easy. My total package with the tent, a little microfiber towel that I wrap my tent stakes up in to, if I do get a little condensation, I'll quickly wipe it down inside. And my tent sack, the tent, the stakes. I also got a clothesline stashed in here because you got to have a clothesline. Hang up your clothes. It comes in right around 26 ounces for the stakes, the tent, the stuff sack, my towel, and everything. So it's still really, really light. One of the things I really like about the camo tent over the spruce green, or is it spruce blue? The 74 ounce, I can't remember if it's blue or green, is it doesn't have the translucency. So I have the ropes set up for Laurel's trekking poles on the outside because she keeps hers normally about 46 inches. So I have it preset to that, so I don't have to adjust any ropes. The tent goes up real fast, and I've got mine set to 48 inches for the peaks. So we can throw the tent up pretty quick once we have a little bit of practice. I mean, it's not like we're doing it every day right now, so it takes a little bit longer. And it's fun in the wind with these. You got to be a little careful because the DCF's real light and it blows around a little bit. After all, this stuff I think was originally designed to be sail material on a boat, so it does blow around pretty good. Zippers work really well. The mesh is very heavy. It works really well.
You do have to two-hand the zippers. I do.
They have made a couple of improvements in the latest version of these tents. They have reinforced a couple of areas over some of the older versions, I feel. And like for instance, this area right here has got a little reinforcement in it from some of the earlier versions. And it seems to me that this overlap here on this particular tent, which is a newer version, has a better overlap right here than my older triplex did. Of course, that may just be the way I'm pitching it too. I'm not real sure, but this does have a better overlap like that. We really like the triplex because, number one, over the sill nylon tents, when it gets wet, it doesn't sag. When it gets wet, it doesn't absorb water and get really heavy. You can literally pick this stuff up and shake it, and 99% of the water comes off of it. What I will do with the ground cloth is if it's really gross and nasty, I'll put it in the net of my pack instead of putting it in the stuff sack. Kind of keep it in the net a lot more than I do in there for a couple of reasons. I want it for, quick, easy access if we're using it for a quick, just a quick cuddle under if a quick little rainstorm comes over. That way we don't get drenched and we can maybe avoid you're going to get wet regardless, but occasionally you can avoid it by using a ground cover for that. And sometimes we'll use a clothesline and we'll set it up as a little bivvy to put our stuff under. It just depends. We use it for all kinds of different stuff, not just a ground cover for the tent. There's a lot of people out there that talk about condensation in single wall tents. I'd like to talk about that for just a minute. Condensation is a fact in any tent, whether it's single wall or double wall. The fly is going to get wet just like the inside of a single wall tent. Now, the whole idea there is that the warm, moist air inside the tent condensates up against the cool fabric of the tent. So you really need to try to keep as best ventilation as you can stand inside the tent to equalize the temperature from the inside to the outside. And you also need to try to pay attention to where you're camping. If you can, try to pick an area that's not, real low, real moist, get up a little bit away from the water, different things like that.
And a ground sheet makes a difference too.
It doesn't hurt, for sure. But the main thing is the ventilation and keeping the temperature differential from the inside of the tent to the ambient air on the outside the least amount possible. Don't put wet gear in your tent if you can avoid it, and just manage it. Look, there's going to be a time when the conditions are 100% perfect where you're going to have to deal with some condensation with a single wall tent, but it's not a killer. It's not a game changer to stay away from a single wall tent, in my opinion. Yeah, sure, we've woken up in the morning with a little bit of frost on the inside of our tent before. It's not a big deal, but you've got to keep it open. You've got to let the air breathe through it if you can. You don't want it to get room. If the temperature drops at night and your tent is 15 or 20 degrees warmer inside than outside and there's a ton of humidity in the air, you're going to deal with some condensation issues. You can manage that if you think your way through it. That's all I got to say about that.
And so, we have the camo now. That's the tent that we fully intend to take on our through hike next year. It weighs 28 ounces with everything.
No, it's a little bit more than that. I've got my tent stakes, my microfiber cloth, and a clothesline in there, and the ground cover. And I mentioned the wrong weight in the initial video when I was setting it up. It weighs right around 2 pounds with all that stuff in there. So, and that's great.
As a comparison, what did our REI tent weigh?
Man, like 4.
Okay, so it's 50% lighter.
But it's not a freestanding tent, again, and look, man, with tents, y'all got to make your own way on that. This works for us. It's a great tent for us. We really like the ease of setup. We love to be able to just grab that and shake that water off it, because DCF, the Cuban fiber Dyneema stuff, does not absorb any water. It's 100% water repellent, and you don't carry the extra weight from a wet tent like you do with the other ones. And for us, that's a big thing for us.
So that's the first of our big 3.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry I rambled a little bit. I kind of apologize for that. If you like what you see, please subscribe.
Any questions? Ask them.
Love comments. And again, guys, less stuff, more fun. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.